Hey everybody, it's March 15th. Welcome back to Show Choir Live. I'm Alex Hall. How are you? It's the end of the competition season for a lot of us, and it was a great weekend, and there's lots of stuff to talk about. We're here with Mr. Eric Van Cleave and my co-host Adam Peters. How you doing, guys?
What's up? Good to see you.
So, Adam, what did you do this weekend? I haven't talked to you at all. I have no idea what you were up to.
I was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, judging the Washington Invitational, Sioux Falls, Washington's Invitational. It was really, really great. I've not seen a lot of South Dakota show choir in my lifetime, which is saying something because I feel like I've seen a lot of different states. But, of course I see Mitchell, but I didn't know a lot of these groups like O'Gorman or Aberdeen Central. Like, I've never seen those groups before, besides maybe like a video here or there. So it was really quite awesome to just get this amazing introduction. And just from talking to some people, apparently, like, this year is like lights out South Dakota show choir. So, and I would have to agree. What I saw was really impressive. Also, St. Francis, Minnesota was competing there, and they actually won the competition, which was amazing because it was their first competition they've ever won. They are only in like their third or fourth competitive year. So it was really nice to see, this amazing group have their first celebration, their first win. But yeah, it was beautiful weather, and there's lots of St. Patty's Day things going on in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So it was kind of fun. What about
That's
you?
cool. Well, I was honestly having one of the most fun show choir days I've ever had. I went first to Wheaton Warrenville South's contest, and I had a handful of groups there, and I was supporting them. And then I was watching Marysville on the live stream down in Fame, Orlando. So I caught the back half of their show. They sounded great on the feed. And then I jumped up north to Mundelein High School, and I was with Prospect for the rest of the night. So it was a busy, busy day of kind of running around, and it's great to be at Wheaton at all, even for a few hours. There's just so many people there, and old friends and new friends, and I got to talk to Jen Randall a little bit. The director's lounge is just like the crossroads of show choir America in there, and it was nice to be in there and see everybody, and I felt like all of my groups did really well, and it was Prospect's last competition. It was Hersey's last competition. Lots of people are kind of wrapping up their seasons, and it was cool to be there for that. So it was a really fun weekend.
You know,
And Eric, oh, go ahead,
oh,
buddy.
I was just gonna say Steph Hyatt flew down to the Fame competition, and over dinner tonight she just couldn't stop ranting and raving about Marysville's show. So good work there, guys.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really excited. I don't know if there's a video of that online or not. If there is, maybe I can. But yeah, they're having a really fun year. Their show's vampire themed, and it's really funny at times. It's touching at times. It's rocking at times. Jeremy did a great job putting the show together, and they're just having a heck of a year. And Eric was judging at Wheaton Warrenville South all day on Saturday and did not win the award for best judge.
No, it was painful. I didn't know there was an award. Next time I will get her. Jen barely eked out the award, and she was shoving it in everyone's face.
So the award was for the judge who makes no adding mistakes all day,
Adding
and
or
Jennifer won.
I use a computer, so any error I generally make is the score doesn't add up. I forget to add a point here, but the totals are right, and I just don't copy a score over from the computer right. But she didn't make a single mistake. It was was cool because the judges,
And
the people doing the tabulation knew that this was going on. So very late uh, in the day, they sent one of her sheets back, and she totally freaked out and opened it up, and it said "Gotcha." So we thought we tricked her. So I assure you, paying total and complete attention to all the groups. There was no hijinks going on. This was between.
well, Jennifer just let everybody know she was bragging with her certificate last
Really
night.
ugly. It was really an ugly display, and she should be ashamed.
She should. She
But
should.
next time, me.
Adam, I'm sure we have lots of results to run down.
Yes, we do. So we should get those done so I can make a fool of myself like I've done the last 3 weeks. Here we go. Results for the 10th weekend of show choir in 2015. And away we go. Quincy, Illinois, 6th place. Cassville, 5th place. Springfield Southeast, 4th place. O'Fallon, 3rd place. Pekin, 2nd place. Mount Pleasant with best vocals, and 1st place. Keokuk with best choreography and best band. At the Carroll Invitational in Indiana, 6th place. East Noble, 5th place. Anderson Prep, 4th place. Woodland, 3rd place. Columbia City, 2nd place. Homestead, and 1st place, 3rd week in a row with the sweep, Findlay, 1st edition. Congratulations, Mr. Manley, who was our guest last week. Mundelein in Illinois, 5th place. Milton, Wisconsin, 4th place. Prospect, 3rd place. Bishop Lures, 2nd place. Monona Grove, and 1st place with best vocals and best choreography, Wheeling. At the Bartlett Festival, 2nd place. Charlatan with best choreography, and 1st place. Dudley with best vocals. In Westwood, Iowa, 6th place. Papillion La Vista South's Prep Group, 5th place. Bishop Heelan, 4th place. Lewis Central, 3rd place. Waukee Prep, 2nd place. Sioux City East, and 1st place with the sweep, Waukee. Best vocals, best choreo, and best band. At the Sioux Falls, Washington Invitational, 6th place. Spirit Lake, 5th place. Bellevue West, 4th place. Aberdeen Central, 3rd place. O'Gorman with best vocals, 2nd place. Roosevelt, Sioux Falls Roosevelt with best choreography and best band, and 1st place with their first win ever was St. Francis, Minnesota. And we've talked the last few weeks about these, weird competitions where it seems like, groups that are getting captions aren't winning or whatnot. I actually judged here, so I know what happened. O'Gorman tied for best vocals with St. Francis, who won. So to break the tie, they went to the day round score. So O'Gorman, who placed 3rd, had the higher day round score. So they got the best vocals award. So if that clears up any confusion for people. The Lafayette Jefferson competition was yesterday. 5th place Brownsburg, 4th place Sullivan, 3rd place DeKalb, 2nd place Zionsville, and 1st place Carmel. At the Wapakoneta Invitational, 5th place Ada, 4th place Milton Union, 3rd place Van Buren, 2nd place Beaver Creek, and 1st place Garfield Heights. At the Lawrence Central Invitational, 4th place Fairfield, Indiana, 3rd place Warren Central, 2nd place Ben Davis, and 1st place Franklin Central. At Norwell's competition, 7th place Bishop Dwenger Girls, 6th place Southside, 5th place Bishop Dwenger, 4th place Newcastle, 3rd place Huntington North, 2nd place Northridge Girls, and 1st place with the win, Northridge. Here in Iowa, in Cedar Rapids, Washington's Mo Show, 6th place Union, 5th place Cedar Rapids Kennedy's Prep Group, 4th place Ottumwa, 3rd place Benton, 2nd place West Delaware, and 1st place with the sweep, Cedar Rapids Kennedy Happiness Incorporated. At the Lebanon Invitational, 6th place Ross, 5th place Edgewood, Ohio, 4th place Fairfield, 3rd place Marion Harding, 2nd place Fairfield's Mixed Varsity Group, and 1st place Coleraine. At the Watseka Invitational in Illinois, 6th place Hoopston, 5th place Shepherd, 4th place PBL, 3rd place EP Gridley, that's El Paso Gridley's girls group, 2nd place El Paso Gridley, and 1st place with best vocals and best choreography, Mantino. At the Taze Valley Invitational in Tier 2, Third place was Whitehall Yearling. Second place was Sheridan, and first place was Southwestern. And in the Tier 1 division, it was third place Polka, second place Grove City, and first place Hamilton. In Shelbyville, Indiana, third place Pike, second place Loveland with Best Band, and first place Center Grove with Best Vocals and Best Choreography. Down in the warm, sunny state of Florida at the Fame Orlando competition, sixth place Hart, fifth place Brea Olinda, fourth place Westside from Omaha, third place Marysville, second place Ankeny Centennial with Best Band, and first place with Best Vocals and Best Choreo, Clinton Attaché. And then at the sunnier competition in California at the Burbank Blast, in the Tier 2 division, you had fourth place Arcadia, third place Serrano, second place Carlsbad, and first place Chula Vista. And then in the Tier 1 division, you had Cypress in third place, second place with the Show Award, John Burroughs Powerhouse, and first place Los Alamitos with Best. Oh, they tied Show with Burroughs, and then I forget what other. I can't read what this says here, but they got another caption as well. So congrats to Los Al. And then finally in Wheaton, Illinois, sixth place Keller Central, fifth place John Hersey, fourth place Twinsburg, third place Buffalo Grove with Best Band, Mitchell with second place, and first place with Best Vocals and Best Choreo. I think this is probably their fifth or sixth win at this competition. Wabanzi Valley Soundcheck wins the competition. And it's so cool to see this lineup of groups. I feel like I think 5 out of 6 groups we've had a representative on Show Choir Live. So that's just super fun to see. It was great week in Show Choir. And for the rest of our shows now, there'll be like 4 or 5 different results, and that's it. And you won't have to sit there for 7,000 minutes and listen to me drone. So thank you.
I think you did a great job. That Wheaton Finals lineup is so great. And I was hearing a lot of good things about Chula Vista's show this year. So I'm excited to get...
Yeah, a lot of people were thinking about it.
Yeah, so that'll be cool to see when we go out to California.
Also, we have to say a quick shout out. We have a birthday. Stephen Todd's birthday is today. He was a former guest on our show. So happy birthday, Mr. Stephen Todd.
Happy birthday, buddy. So Enterprise, Alabama was also down at Wheaton South, and they spent the weekend in Chicago, and I interviewed them. We reblocked their show in a hotel room on Friday night, and after the reblock, I interviewed 3 of the Encore's members. So I'm going to play a quick recorded interview of them. And then we'll move on to our main event here. So here's interview with the interviews.
I'm David Lewis, and I'm in 12th grade.
Hey, I'm Morgan, and I'm a senior. Hi, I'm Taylor, and I'm a junior, and we are all in Enterprise Encores. We're in Chicago, in the Embassy Suite. Seeing the sights, shopping, making my dad's baby shopping.
Dancing with street performers?
You danced with the street performer today?
I did. It was a golden girl.
What else? Didn't you get sketched earlier today?
Oh, I did. And he sketched me in 90 seconds. That's what happened.
Oh my goodness, it looks just like it.
We've been to a lot of competitions, and this was our first year going out of state for like a normal competition, not our spring trip. Mm-hmm. And we went to Petal, Mississippi, and that was great. All the groups were so amazing. Our show is Willy Wonka. Peyton Stinson plays Charlie, and Xavier Lewis plays Wonka. And we have all the 4 characters we use and interpret that through song and dance.
My favorite memory had to be Opelika winning Grand Champs. It's just a dream, honestly, to win Grand Champs, and from being like 3rd place all the time and to finally actually win the big trophy, it's a burden basically off our shoulders because, everyone expects greatness from us, and we finally delivered in that performance.
Winning Grand Champs is up there, but I've got to say that our exchange with Wheaton North Flight is my favorite memory because they were just so nice. It was great to get to come up here and experience, how they do show choir and just to get to know them. Really, I got the opportunity to go to show choir camps in America this summer, and all three of us did actually, and I made my best friends there. And getting to go to these competitions and see them and getting to just burst out in song because that's how we know each other really was just amazing. And then to see all of my friends from Encores meet my friends from show choir camp and have a bond together just really just made my heart happy. It was like when worlds collide. It's crazy. And really, all the friends we made are from Illinois. So they're like, will you talk for us? And so we just have to talk for 30 minutes because they love our accent.
What's the most southern thing you can say right now?
Hey, y'all!
If somebody was on the fence about going to show choir camp, what would you say about show choir camp?
One, do car washes, bake sales, whatever you have to do to get there. You will have a whole new appreciation for show choir. Just the friendships and just the bonds. Oh, there we are. Just the bonds we made were just I can't. Yeah, you can't ever break them. We were all in Miners Todd, and they are just such incredible people. Stephen Todd is a phenomenal choreographer and an amazing person, and he is just so sweet and just makes you feel like the most beautiful person in the world, and there's just nothing like it. And Mark Myers, he has a way of just breaking down vocal things and making you understand. He really does, and it's funny to watch him, but it's wow, that makes so much sense, right. And I might actually be in love with you right now.
Tomorrow is your very last competition ever, you guys. So,
it's going to be amazing, but yet so bitter because I love show choir to a point where I don't think I can love anything as much as I love show choir anymore. Of course, my family, of course, but and Jesus.
Yeah, make sure you say all those things.
But I mean, show choir has changed my life. I used to play football, but now I quit football to dance, and now I'm in show choir, and I'm about to be going to New York to go to college for dance, and there's just nothing better than it. Tomorrow will be. I might just cry tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna cry.
Well, I actually hadn't really thought about it until just now, but it's gonna be sad. But for me, it's not really a goodbye to show choir because in the fall I will be attending the University of Montevallo and starting my major in music education, and hopefully, doing some student teaching with the beautiful Cameron Johnson. So really, it's not a goodbye for me. It's just a see you later until I can finally get out there and follow my dream. 5, 6, 7, 8. Bye, y'all!
I'm Xavier Lewis, and I'm told.
So I hope the audio quality was okay there. I'm still having some issues with this software, but they're just hilarious, and I loved what they had to say about show choir camp, and that was a really fun interview. So if those guys are watching, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun, and yeah. So let's start talking to our main event here, Mr. Eric Van Cleave.
That's really
who is in live
video of the people backstage.
Go ahead.
I don't get to see that. We're sequestered and locked away in a vault, and we don't get to see that cool stuff. I'm glad I got to see that video. That's pretty cool. You need one of those things on a microphone, like a newscaster, right? With a little show choir.
Yeah, we did that at Fame Nationals last year.
That's great.
We did.
I want one of your shirts. So where can I get one of those shirts?
Well, you could go to.
Let's get this deal now.
Show it off a little bit. Let's see that show choir live shirt.
Cool, right? It's cool.
Yes.
Show choir live. So there are tons of different versions.
Yeah. I'm dyslexic, so that's really
you get them on session
like that.
And I know that unless we get 15 orders. And I know that a few people have already put in for some, so if we get that number up to 15, it will initiate another run. So if you guys want to going. But yeah, I got a lot of interesting comments wearing my shirt to both competitions yesterday, and
Let's get the tweets going right now. Let's sell 15 shirts so we can order some more. Come on,
See?
people, send those orders in. Let's go.
okay, Eric, you're
Turned into QBC all of a sudden. Wow.
Sell some shirts.
you're officially going to be on the show every week now.
All right, good, excellent.
All right, so Eric,
I'm not part of the staff. I'm not wearing your shirt. I'm still wearing this one. So
right, you'll get there someday, though.
okay, something to aspire to be the best judge and beat Jen Golspig, and to get a shirt. So that's cool.
I think those are pretty high aspirations for someone like you.
I can dream.
Well, why don't you tell us your history in show choir? And as you and I were kind of hanging out yesterday and talking to some people, we realized there were some people that are watching right now, some people in the younger show choir generation that might not know where you came from. So tell us a little bit about your show choir background.
Yeah, first of all, I didn't want to do the show, but my new press agent said I should come on here and talk to the kids and say things like hashtag a lot. Hashtag stuff. So hashtag. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Talking to the peeps. What was your I'm sorry, what was your question again?
It was.
There's a boring question, I think. I don't. Well, no, it's not a boring. I'm sorry, Alex. That's not right.
Hey,
I was in show choir when I was in high school in the NHS Singers in Noblesville, Indiana. So that's where I started. Then I went to Ball State and traveled with the Ball State University Singers. Chirp, chirp. And there's got to be some Ball State people calling. Let's see if we can sell 15 shirts to the Ball State people right now. Let's go. Let's go. And where was I? Ball State. I was at Ball State for an extended period of time, actually. And then I student taught at Delta High School in Muncie with Jane Welch, who is Jane River, who is Beth Slusher's sister. And I was there student teaching, and she walked in one day and said, there's got to be a better way to get show choir costumes. This is crazy. So she started River's Custom Show Apparel, and Jane later sold it to Beth Slusher. And so I was, actually Jane said, you could do the tuxedos. And I said, no, that's okay. I'd rather be a choir director. And that was like one of the first huge career mistakes I made. And should have just sold the tuxes with Rivers, right? Shout out to Rivers. So then I went to and taught at Lafayette Jefferson with Kevin Butler in like 1987, 1985, 86 and 87, and then Kevin left, and they literally could not find anyone to take his job, so they let me keep it for a year, and and I'm so glad I didn't know. I think I secretly knew that, but I just acted like I didn't maybe. But was fortunate enough. I love those kids. My former students in 1987 who went out and did a great job, so I didn't get fired. I remember cowering, just going, "Oh, please, just let us not be horrible," and they weren't horrible.
Is that why in 1988 your ballad was One Day More? Because you were just like trying to send a like subliminal message, like "Give me one day more."
Well, that was actually Kevin Butler's last year.
Oh.
And yeah, that was Kevin Butler. Although I'd love to take credit for that. It was. I learned, by the way, so much from Kevin Butler. He's quite fantastic. He wanted to do One Day More, and I arranged it, and I didn't think it would work, so I had a backup arrangement ready to go, and I was really wrong. That worked quite well, and so I got to teach with Kevin Butler, then Kevin left, and then I taught at Lafayette Jefferson High School in Indiana, where Verda Slinkard is now. And in fact, I invited her to come over. She was going to be a super guest tonight because I thought she'd be more entertaining. We could just watch her talk, and that would have been a lot of fun. Maybe next time we can. But somebody else will need to be there so they can work the computer for Verda. Anyway, so I was going to say I shouldn't say that. She might be watching, but she doesn't know how to probably turn it on there. So. Where was I? Anyway, then I loved teaching, loved every minute of teaching, but wanted to do some other things. So I retired from teaching a little bit, I suppose, in about 1999, 2000, and moved to New York and did quite a bit of work with Cedar Fair Amusement Park, Cedar Point. Drove around in a van hiring people for amusement park shows for several years. Enjoyed that that was pretty cool too. Always wanted to do that. And then later on just started doing more freelance arranging. I've written for, have the honor and pleasure to write for a whole lot of great groups over the years. And now I'm doing some writing for Alfred Music Publications. That's Alfred Music Publications. They're great. Michael Spresser's fantastic. They're also arrangements.net with Anita Krakauer. So I enjoy doing that, and been very fortunate. And you know, it's fun because I don't teach daily now, but I still get to hang out with really cool people at the show choir contests. And you know, I was looking down the panel of judging at Wheaton Warrenville yesterday. I mean, it was like, you know, you just look down there and it's, you know, Paul Goldsfig on the end, and Miss Linda, and Jen, and Jeff Guimar. It's like, you know, what a great group of people to get to hang out with. And then after, we get to see people like Alex hanging out in the hotel. And so, you know, I've been very fortunate and spent a lot of time with some really cool and talented people. People, you know, just some really influential people like Brent Holland. Get to work. Yeah, I love choreographers, and I don't know if all arrangers love choreographers, but I love different choreographers. Of course, Brent Holland, Woody, we worked together for a long time at Lafayette Jeff, and so, you know, if I'm arranging for Woody, I would arrange it one way and also get to work with other choreographers, and so I can kind of get a feel if it's for, you know, I like to write for Mike Weaver because he's, you know, musical theater, and he does some really cool things, and I'll write it one way, and then if I'm writing for someone else like Jared, you know, that's just a different energy. So I've got to hang out with some really cool choreographers and people, and show choir been very good to me.
When did you know you wanted to be a choir director?
You know, I think probably in high school I thought I either wanted to go into television production or into choral music. I'm not a great singer, so when I went to college, I was an instrumental major. I was a saxophone major, and if they would have found out I wanted to be a choir director, they probably would have found a way to stop that. But so I was licensed and licensed to teach both instrumental and vocal, and so I like doing that. And I thought I could marry the two and see. It must have been high school, certainly college, when I was looking toward that. And it's sort of just I don't remember saying that's exactly what I want to do, but it just seemed to take me down the road of all the things I like to do. I like to arrange, and, you know, I like on people. And so it was and you know, like I just genuinely, I was lucky because I think you can go to be a music educator and they say, you know, what are you going to teach? And they go, I want to teach math, I want to teach music, you know, I want to teach science, whatever. I think that the question, when, you know, I meet a lot of students who are people who want to become music teachers, and, you know, my first, you know, question is, do you like kids? Because, you know, you can love music, but if you don't like and connect with kids, you know, it's just not going to work for you. So I do. It's because I'm childish, I think, a little immature and childish, and I totally get, you know, I'm still sort of, you know, 15 inside. So #15.
You look 15 too. You look the age.
Yeah. You need some glasses, or you got a bad connection right there. You okay?
How many arrangements have you done for show choirs over the years? Do you have a number that you think of?
I don't know. You know, I don't really, you know, after it's, when I'm doing it, I live with it, and I love it while I'm doing it, and I can't let it go until I love it in some way, even if it's not a song I would have picked. And afterwards, the funny thing is I have famously arranged the same song 3 times without remembering that I had done it twice before. But the great news is they kept getting better. So if they were getting worse, I think that would have been a bad sign. But I try not to do that anymore. I'm arranging less custom work now and doing more work through Alfred. I should probably mention, I've got somebody. Please ask me. Do I have any new arrangements coming out with Alfred? Anyone? Will anyone ask that?
Do you have any new arrangements coming out with Alfred?
Thanks, Alex. I'm really happy you asked that. Yes, I do. I have Eye of the Tiger. It's pretty cool. I love Eye of the Tiger. It's all new again because, you know, they made the Broadway musical out of it, and so I kind of listened to that and worked that around. And so and Shelley will love it too because it has key changes built in.
Hey, well, you got to.
That'll be really cool. But choreographers don't cut it because the key changes, you won't get there. So you can't cut that. But why would you want to cut one beautiful note of it? It's going to be fantastic. And Living in America, I have an arrangement of Living in America coming up. And also, does anybody really know what time it is by Chicago? You may not know that song. Old people will know that. That's how you know you're old. If you know that song, you are officially
That is
old.
such a lie. I love that song. I used to sing it all the time in like 6th grade.
Sweet. Well, I've got it in SATV, SSA, and SAB, of course. So take your pick.
I'm going to be picking up my copy.
Adam, you only listened to that era of music until you were about 21, so.
It's true. The first time I had ever heard Madonna's Vogue was in show choir, and I was like, this is an amazing song. And they're like, this came out 10 or 15 years ago. I was like, oh, well, my parents did a good job sheltering me. Thanks, Mom, Dad, if you're watching. Dad actually listens every week, so yeah.
Eric, did you arrange for First Edition all throughout your career there?
Even when I was teaching there, I didn't arrange everything we did because there are some great arrangements by other fantastic arrangers. So I did a lot of it, but I certainly didn't do all of it. If somebody else has a great arrangement of something, even today, if somebody calls me for something that maybe I might enjoy doing, but I think somebody else would do better, I will just go ahead and send them to if somebody wants to do vocal jazz, I'll just give them, Lee or Greg's phone number, because they really get that and really do that, and I'm happy to do that. I like to arrange songs that I think if you handed the arrangement to 3 different arrangers and you would largely get the same thing, I don't really want to do that one because there's not really a problem to solve. I like to solve problems and there's some songs that might seem easy. I'll spend significant time just trying to figure out what key to put a song in, and then once you figure that out, you've kind of worked through those details. It's a bad day when you've spent 2 or 3 days on an arrangement and realizing very late in that process that you have it a tritone too high or low because you can't just transpose that. And I will do that because I can't just people are going to sing that song for a long time. When I'm writing an arrangement, I love to think of I literally think of they're going to be 30, 40, 50 kids singing this, or if it's published, more, and for a long time, and I take that seriously and really enjoy, working out problems or writing specifically for a choreographer that I know do something really cool with it. And getting to go out and see and hear that is really cool.
What are
Go ahead, Al.
What are some of your favorite numbers? You said you like the challenges. What are some of your favorite challenging numbers that you've kind of solved over the years?
That's a good question. Let me see. I was lying. I didn't really solve any problems.
Well, musical problems.
Quit asking probing questions. That'll be about all. You said this would be easy.
Whole job.
I think sometimes I spend a lot of time trying to make things easy but sound difficult, if that makes any sense. I don't try to make things difficult for the sake of them being difficult. Sometimes I will, it would be, people will call and say, can't you write that in 6 parts? It's like, yeah, but I made it sound better in 3. Isn't that cool? I know your choreographer is really going to want to dance there, and 6 parts may not work. It isn't. Maybe 4 is better than 6, or maybe 2 is better than 4. And I really try to, especially if it's a choreographed number, really try to make it so, because I know where you're going to want to dance, and where you're going to want to sing, and to try to work that out. It's sometimes upsetting when you send an arrangement out and like 9 minutes later they call back and want you to change things. Like I just lived with that for a long time. Just at least try it there. So I don't know. I think maybe by the virtue of about everything that I do now, there's probably something in it that needs to be solved, or maybe it's just solving it for that group. Maybe they have limited range but very powerful women. Or maybe they have for example, if yesterday at Wheaton Warrenville, different groups. Just thinking about some of those groups. If you're writing for Twinsburg, you're going to want to write those guys' parts. 3 and 4 parts, and they had some great arrangements, by the way. I don't know who did them, but they just had great arrangements for their group. Other groups maybe are smaller and they're going to be doing more dancing. You really want to use economy of part there and know when to cover with horns, and maybe they have a great horn section or maybe not so great, and trying to figure out how to make everybody sound absolutely as good as they can for what their strengths and weaknesses are. I'll often ask, what's your strength? What's your weakness? What do you want to do? Who's choreographing? I have to know who's choreographing it before I can. In fact, I largely work through choreographers anyway. Somebody will say, I have an idea for this, and we'll sometimes work that out, with the details out on that, because that makes it cool.
That's really awesome. I've actually haven't heard of that very often, so I think that's really interesting to hear that. I have two questions from a fellow show choir arranger, Mr. Brock Kuiper. He texted me to ask you. First, he wants to know, do you have a favorite arrangement of all time? Do you have a favorite song you've done, or they're just all?
And by the way, I don't have anything to teach Brock about arranging. He's fantastic. And have you heard their band? I can't remember where I was judging them earlier in the year, and I remember it. They hand you a tape recorder and you have to say something, and I think I recall saying, "You guys are fantastic," and so are the singers and dancers. It's like their band is just killer, and I love that. That speaks to me. So when there's a great band, I'm a sucker for that. I don't know. I mean, it depends. It's more about the experience, and if I have an arrangement like one that was of particular emotional impact because of where I was at that time, I like that. A recent favorite is Morning Glow that was published. It's published with Alfred right now, and I love that because I got to hear the teachers at SCA. Mark selected that as the ballad for the teachers at the Show Choir Camps of America. There we go. A shout out to SCA, right? And to hear him, to hear what the teachers were able to do with that, it was really moving and really cool, and it was just such an honor to hear such great singers. I mean, just really get into it, and that was
there wasn't a dry eye in the entire room. Me and my roommate Steph, we turn it on in the car sometimes and just listen to it, and we will both start bawling because it was just incredible. It was like 120 teachers too, one of the largest batches, and they just beasted out that arrangement.
They brought it. Yeah, I was really, really happy with that. It just was sort of because I remember I was sitting and watching that, and I had my my phone. I was going to videotape it, and was sort of just not prepared for the emotional impact that was about to render. So I was like, that was really moving just to get to hear that and to be able to experience it.
And the second question that he had, you kind of started to talk about. You like to talk into judges' tapes, and Brock was saying that you kind of had some wacky things that you like to say, and he's always enjoyed your tapes over the years, and he wanted to know, what is one of the wackiest things that you have ever said into a judge's tape?
I don't know if I'm going to tell you that, but I can tell you I don't like the digital recorders because with cassettes, if you said something you just really came out the wrong way, you could just break the tape and go, sorry, I don't know. I try to be helpful. Nobody wants to hear, I don't like that. I wouldn't do it that way. I don't like green. Nobody wants to hear that. And so I try to make them, if not helpful, at least amusing. Because, that's a tough thing. You're sitting there and your tendency is to start nitpicking at things. And I'm holding my fake microphone up. Can you see it? And I hated that when I was on the other side of that. And I try to be positive. I try to say, I think this would make your show even better. Instead of, I don't like that about your show. I try to take it from, and try to take it from a place where they can actually do something about it. If I don't like your costumes, you're not going to go out between the day and night show and buy a new costume. I might make a general comment like, in the future you might want to consider the fact that the backdrop's often black, the top of the risers are black, the floor is black. If your girls are dressed in black and your guys are dressed in black, there's nothing to, it all runs together and it's hard to see. So I might, I might say that, but I don't, I don't know. I don't know, wacky things. I don't know. They're all helpful and educational. They're never wacky. I'll stick with that. So.
Very straightforward, direct, clear, thoughtful remarks. That's what the answer is, right?
I judged where I can't remember where it was, but they can run them off onto a CD, and I asked a contest last year. Just run off all of my tapes for me. I want to hear them to see what I'm really sounding like, so I'm not harping. And I learned a lot from that because, sometimes I'm thinking, man, I wish I would just shut up. I wish I would just shut up. Sometimes this is when the judges are very close to the audience and we're supposed to be talking, but it gets loud and parents will turn around and like shush you and be really, really mean. And you happen to catch the button from their school where they're say, oh, sorry, I'll try to be quiet when your school's on. I'll try not to talk too much, but. You've all had, I don't know, the worst thing you've ever heard anyone say on a tape. Don't say who it is, or do, just so it's not me. I don't care.
We have a really great Twitter question. This is Alex Wampler from Marysville. Your style of teaching is so admirable to directors all over that I've talked to. How are you able to develop such a great foundation with your students/campers every year?
That's really that's really nice for him to say. I don't know. I think I just genuinely love working with high school kids and middle school. I just like even more so than college and even more so than professional. I mean, and I've worked. In fact, I've worked with many age levels. I do a summer camp. I do some show choir camps. I also do another camp for the Elder Hostel organization. It's now called Rhodes Scholar, and about 50 people, retirement age, come from all over the country and meet at Purdue University for basically a week of show choir camp, and they're hilarious. They're the kind of old people you want to be when you grow up, because they're going out and doing, having adventures. And so I thought I liked to work just with kids, but I love those people too. They're so cool. They're bad too. They try to sneak wine into the dorms at Purdue, but I act like I don't see. And they're doing the same thing. It was hilarious. So the first week I was working with the Elder Hostel group, and they range up to like 95 years old and coming in and doing this. And after the first rehearsal, somebody came up and said, "Listen, I've got a problem. I can't really look up the risers. Is it okay if I'm in the front?" And I thought, well, that's fair. And then she left, and somebody else came up and said, "Didn't Berta do a great job with that solo audition?" I said, "Absolutely." She goes, "She auditioned so well, but she blows it in the performance." So she was, it's just like high school kids. They want to be in the front and they want the solo. So it's not a whole lot different than high school kids. But back to just I just genuinely like kids, and I want to connect with kids. I don't want a kid to leave there, a student who, no matter where I am, whether I'm doing a clinic or a workshop, I try to find the people that need to hear what I have to say, and just be honest. Kids can tell if you are fake. They can tell if you're lying to them. They can sense that immediately, and so you just have to be honest. You can't really throw a lot of bull their way without them calling you out on it, and I just love doing it. And the great thing about, I'm not sitting here, as I'm plugging everywhere I work, but Show Choir Camps America has been really good at getting, there's a lot of very talented vocal people and choreographers out there. People say, well, how do you get the job there? I said, well, I don't know, the phone rang and I said, yes, I would do it, But I think they value, people who can do what they're supposed to do, but also are going to give the campers a great experience. And I think that's the same thing with teachers too. You can. It's not an easy job to be a choir director, or to be any teacher. And especially teachers that run programs like athletics or music, because those students are often depending on those programs for more than just music education. That's a lot of life experience, and I truly treasure all the moments that. I've had the opportunity when I was teaching full time. And I miss that. I miss that on some level. I don't miss the hours. Though the worst part of teaching is it takes 80 hours a week to do it the way that most people that you and I know do it. I mean, those people, you think about it, it's a lot of trouble to put a show together that's going to get first or second or third place, but it's almost that much trouble to put together a show that's going to be 16th or 18th. And, my hat's off to those people. Keep chugging, keep trying, keep listening, keep learning, and, ask for help from those people around you because people are happy to share.
That's a perfect transition into your Lafayette Jefferson days. Your shows then were quite the spectacles. Can you tell us some of your favorite shows, favorite memories? I mean, if kids out there, if you have not seen these shows, go to YouTube. Brock Kuiper has uploaded them. Pretty much, I think all of your years are up on YouTube now, and they are just, I mean, it's like a Netflix show. You could just sit there and just binge watch your old show choir shows that you put together. Can you talk about those?
That's funny because I really had never watched all of them. I did it, and then away it went. I mean, I remembered it, but maybe 3 years ago, I had I needed to go through and look at some things and find some samples of some things. Anyway, so I put and students gave me the DVDs. I didn't even have them. They just, here, do you want to copy this? As shows you did. I said, thank you very much. Put it away. And I didn't really want to watch it because when you look back on it, I'm hypercritical. It's like, oh, that wasn't good. That wasn't good. But I watched it from literally just sat and watched from my first show till when I was at Lafayette Jeff, and it was like it was just so moving. And it wasn't when I look back at it, it wasn't the songs or the shows. It was seeing the people, and seeing the kids who have done this or gone on to do this or sadly have passed away or it was just I think really for me that's more. I've never really totally loved the competition day. I love getting ready for the contest. Going was just a necessary evil that and people that only knew me on those days probably didn't think I was a very nice person because I was there just to get the day done. We were so business oriented.
Let's talk about that a little bit because if people don't know, you guys used to be the most intimidating group that would ever walk in a school. Tell us a little bit about that because you guys freaked me out in high school.
Excellent. That's exactly what we wanted to do. I don't know. That's funny that you say that. I don't know. That was a different day. That was a different day. There were only 5 criminals in Gotham City at the time. There weren't hundreds of show choirs and millions of show choirs, and there weren't very many show choir. There's like Bishop Lures, and then maybe Showstoppers, and then there just weren't very many show choir contests out there. So you had to really be ready for Bishop Lures or whatever and there were other big ones around the country, but off and out, and it wasn't really a national movement. I don't know. It was just we were just so intent on. We wanted to be groundbreaking. We tried. And I surrounded myself with really smart people like Brent Highland, who was so. I mean, and we were like so young, and so we just got our free time. We'd sit around and think of something crazy to do, and think we can't do that. That's impossible. So we call Scott Allersmeyer, the guy that built the tech stuff. He's the guy that designed the. We did a wall of fog for a while, and we actually saw that. I saw it at Disney World at the Tomorrowland Theater. Only they shot liquid nitrogen from like cups above the stage, and I thought, oh my gosh, they were there in these red costumes, and then this fog wall happened, and then like 13 seconds later they were there in white costumes. I said, we have to do that, and we had this costume change, and we just literally that did not work until like the Tuesday before the Saturday, and we were like freaking out because we had no plan B. And so, Scott Allersmeyer built, the hydraulic lift deal that was really a cool thing. And he just came, and so many of these things were like, we just said we need this to happen, and we just, figured out a way to make it happen. And I don't know, sometimes it went painfully wrong. But most of the time, I remember we had a disaster. Scott Allersmeyer had built a set that was a huge pyramid, and all aimed forward, and it was an Elvis medley that we had done. And after at one point it was going to open up, and it turned from like bowling pins, and it was supposed to open up. Well, the stage got the risers got torqued, and there were stage crew people underneath them moving them. We had rehearsed so it looked hydraulic. We didn't want it to look like there were people under it. And I think it was at Fort Wayne Carroll, maybe, I can't remember. They didn't unlock, and so the kids on one side were stronger, and they pulled. The other kids were dragging up. So none of the risers were where they were supposed to be. And it wasn't risers, it was scaffolding. It was just a big problem. And so, of course, everyone didn't wish us well in those endeavors, and on that day they were really excited to see that it didn't quite work well. but such is life. You see that still. So
I always say if I could have built a time machine to go back and watch one show choir show, it would be your Magic show in '98. I have rewatched that show probably 15,000 times, and I can sing every part of It's Not Too Late, Whatever You Imagine. I mean, everyone, all of my friends know it. I'm a proud geek of that show.
I see what you guys have done to poor Derek Platten, get that soloist, that look he gives to the camera. I've seen that. That was a great year. That was not our most successful show. We didn't sweep contests with that show, but it was certainly memorable and a lot of fun. A lot of fun to do. We had a lot of stuff and people on that stage. Sometimes it just gets a little full. But
what are some of your
levitation? The levitation was pretty cool.
What are some of your favorite moments from being in charge of First Edition? Like some specific instances or musical moments that left an impression, I'll say.
Certainly, when in 1988, you had mentioned 1988 that First Edition did One Day More, and Kevin Butler was the director of that. I mean, just being able to kind of experience that, I learned so much from working with so many cool people, and certainly that was a moment that was just sort of it changed sort of what show choirs could do. And I shouldn't say that. It's not like nobody ever sang a big ballad before that, but he did it in such a way that was notable, and you noted that was you could tell it was sort of a game changer, and that was cool. I don't know. I mean, each one. I know that sounds so canned, but it really, for me, when you say that, I just go back to the individual some great moments were when we would bring in clinicians, or when we'd go to New York, we wouldn't perform. We would just do workshops with really cool people. Everett Bradley, I don't know if you've that age, he's the music director on Meredith Vieira's show. He's an old show choir choreographer from Indiana. He plays auxiliary percussion with Bruce Springsteen. He was in Stomp on Broadway. He trained people to be in Stomp. And he's just a cool personality. And doing workshops with really powerful personalities like that, doing a workshop with casting directors of Les Miserables and watching the kids get to do those things. But you were asking about just like musical moments of shows, and each moment really sort of builds its own memories, and it's just so hard to limit that because each one is so different.
Now I have to play the video that you referenced, the famed look that you obviously taught this guy to do. I mean,
right.
It is such an Eric Van Cleave thing for sure. I'm going to hold up my cell phone, folks. Bear with me, but this is just genius acting choice here. A little bit of... Look at this look he gives. It's magic. It's the best.
You're a bad person, Adam.
I love it. It's my favorite.
He's a great guy.
Shout out to Dave. Whatever you're doing.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
If you had advice to anybody who, like, I like to ask this question because a lot of the people in our audience are, uh, students. If you had any advice for anybody who is looking into being a director or even looking to get started as an arranger, what advice would you give?
Just do what you want to do. You find opportunities to whatever it is you want to do. If you want to be an arranger, arrange. If you want to be a director, find opportunities to go do that. And work with, volunteer, be a camp counselor. There are a lot of camps, places you can go and or start your own, do your own, get some friends together and put a show together. Just do what you like to do and do it as often as you can. And what's that? How many after 1,000 hours of doing something you're a professional? I don't know.
10,000 hours.
10,000, yeah. Well, I only did just 1,000. I got bored.
Maybe 1,000 works for some people. I don't know.
Now, you get better at that. And I write differently than I did 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I think I look back now and see some things and think it's sort of funny, but I know what I was trying to achieve, and you find easier, better ways to do it, or more musical ways to do it, and just do what you like to do. If you love to sing, sing. I like to sing. I don't really love to sing. It's not really my thing. It sounds kind of funny from a choral director saying that, but I love to write. I love to produce shows. I love to do that. I love to come up with really cool. I love to watch the audience's face when something cool. It's like Buffalo Grove. If you've seen their show this year, I totally loved what they did in their closing number. I don't know if you've seen it, but they turn the lights off and they have lights in their jackets that light up, and they start doing that, which is really cool because their band's just killing it. And then the lights go out, and that's cool. And then there's one more. I think that's the thing that people miss. You want one more, and then all of a sudden the multicolored lights came out. It was like boom. You sometimes you'll put all your eggs in one basket, and you just need one more punch in the face. And they did that. It was like the band's playing, they're dancing, the lights go out, the lights on the costumes, and then there's one more punch in the face. And it's like overwhelming. It's just like, that's the deal, and sometimes that can go, everybody writes a bad show. Everybody has a show that doesn't turn out as well as they wish it would, or it could for many different reasons. But when you hit it, and then you can look at the audience when that's happening, that's a cool feeling, just to be able to look and just see people's faces and watch people. I like sometimes to just watch the faces of people and just watch you can tell if it's working or not by their facial expressions. You don't have to ask. When it's working. And I like to hang out with people that like to do that too. I think that's why I like choreographers, because they're all about solving that problem and making it happen. And I think that's what I like to do.
I love being on the production side of show choir. It's been a really cool thing the last several years, and I think that is part of it, kind of being in the venue and watching that reaction and learning from that reaction too, because like you said, when things don't go well, you learn real quick, and like when you take a show out for the first time, that's such a nervous excitement because you don't know how it's going to sit, and you can learn so much just from that reaction there, and that really can help you.
I like to do preemptive work. If I'm putting a show together, I will sketch it out to the best degree possible, and then run it by 3 totally different people. And if this person thinks it's okay, another person, you have to listen to your own gut. But if you show it to people and they go, I don't really get that, you should listen, or define it better, or refine it more. Because, if somebody doesn't get it, like a theme show, I love a theme show, but if I don't get your theme show, you don't have a theme show. Not me personally, but, it's like, what's the theme of your show? Essence. It's like, what? What's essence? How are you going to show essence? The essence of love, the essence of a flower. It's like, that doesn't make sense. It's got to be, you have to, and there are some people that are really good at that, and just look. Who's better than Dwight? It's like he can take Dwight Jordan. I mean, he's so brilliant at what he does. And again, that's the thing I like about hanging out with the show choir people, because there are some crazy, crazy creative minds that just to hang out with people, just to talk to somebody, and and there's such a concentrated group of those people that that do the show choir thing. And it's so cool to hang out, to be able to call those people friends. And people, it's like when I hear a great arrangement, I don't find that I get jealous. I find that I think that's sweet. Look at what that's really cool, or I'll call an arranger. I called Mark Myers a couple of talked to him and said, I want to copy that arrangement. I want to know your tricks and secrets, and so he gave me a version of it. I kind of looked at it, and you can look at a Dave Fair arrangement and go, how does he get that done? And you look at it and go, that's really cool. He solved that in that way. So, and not just that, but choreographers too. We're all dealing with the same finite resource, well, largely finite resources, but and dealing with the same thing. And you're starting, and let the most creative person go out and just do it. It's like and yesterday at Wheaton Warrenville, there were there were some great groups there. There were 3 groups that I thought were all. First place was Wabanzi, and I think they just had a great year, and they do what they do so well, and I think it was their day. But then second, third, and fourth, all 3 of them were arguably a second place or even maybe a first place group at any given time. And to have to put somebody in third or fourth place, that's sometimes painful to have to quantify it. So I say if you get within 3 spots of where you think you should have been, it was a good day for you. And because judges are people, judges are humans, and it's judging art, and that's difficult because I might like Renoir and you might like Gauguin, and one of us is not wrong. We can both be right, and you see that. Sometimes there are things that people do that go, you're not singing in tune too well, or your choreography is just a mess, or whatever. You can say that's that. But once you're beyond that level, and people are at the level that you see Mitchell, or Buffalo Grove, or all of the you can go on and on about the great groups. And that's what I was saying earlier. 10 or 15, 20 years ago, there were only 5 criminals in Gotham City. But now there are great groups you've never heard of, and they're more every day, and that's so cool.
There really are, and like the state of Iowa, Nebraska, like there's so many groups that are so impressive now, and it just keeps coming. Like it's an endless stream of new stuff every year. Keller, Texas, like Keller Central.
Speaking of Keller, Texas, Jen Randall, their director, is texting me right now, and she's saying, I want to be Eric Van Cleave's friends. Why are we not friends? So
I'm your friend. I love your. I'm totally your friend. It's cool to see people that like from Texas. It's like they're doing it in Texas, and now because they're doing such a great job, some other school in Texas is going. And then that's what happens. You can't grow it with one. You have to have 2, and they have to want to go beat up on each other a little bit at some contest, I suppose. But
who was that other group for you when you were teaching?
I had nothing but love for everyone. You know that.
Get out of here.
Jokes.
Honestly, if it's and back to like when you look at it from the other side, adjudicating, because almost everyone I judge I know personally, and I consider most of them friends or acquaintances at least. I knew the people there yesterday, and it's difficult to put a friend in not where they want to, we're not where they think they ought to be. But as a friend, I've had that happen. I've had that as well, and you just sort of have to go with the process and make sure that you're not out. It becomes ugly when you're about trying to win a trophy, and you can tell that in the performance. The trophies sort of take care of themselves. And there's a lot of trophies that have been won that are in closets and choir rooms across the country. Later you don't think about the trophies, but you think about those, and you don't even really remember winning or losing as much. I don't want to say that winning's not better than losing sometimes, of course, but But I had some great days when we didn't come out on top, you know. And what was the question? I went off. I went off topic. You know, you're judging for. I am your friend. I love Texas.
I think that was the question. Well, we're getting close. It's 9:06 here, so I'm going to go ahead and do one of my favorite parts of the show, the lightning round, where we put 60 seconds on an imaginary clock that we do not monitor, and you answer as many questions as you possibly can, as quickly as you can, and you get points for every one that you get right. That's just how.
I'm great under a time pressure. I'm great.
Okay.
Great.
All right. 60 seconds on the clock, and away we go. What's your favorite meal?
Sushi.
Your least favorite word, because mine is meal.
I'm not gonna. I can't say it because it upsets me too much.
All right. What's the best show choir show you've ever seen that's not your own?
Carmel Ambassadors, 1985.
Google it, guys. What time is it in Hawaii?
It is now 7 o'clock. No, 7 o'clock.
Sure. Have you ever been really lost?
Yes, figuratively and literally, trying to get to Shepherd Hill in on the East Coast. I mean, literally, it's a damn Shepherd Hill. My GPS went. I don't know where it is.
I don't know what that is.
Now I can't find Shepherd Hill.
What's your most irrational fear?
Fear of. I'm not afraid of anything. I don't know. The IRS. How's that? No.
Okay, there you go. Kevin Manley was claustrophobic, and we learned that in the lightning round last time, so I thought I'd give that question another spin.
No, you know what? This is really crazy. This is not a fear, but I have a fear that I'm going to leave the garage door unlocked. So I'll sometimes drive around the house like 3 times to make sure the garage door is down, so my dog Baxter doesn't get out.
We got to keep a hold of Baxter. What's your favorite thing to cook?
I like to. We make like high-end gourmet ice cream.
Really?
Ice cream, yeah.
What flavor?
Well, the base is vanilla, and everything after that, you have to get that base right. So, you know.
It's all about that base.
What's the weirdest place you've ever performed with a show choir?
In a moose lodge.
There you go. I knew you were gonna say that. It's just that's an Indiana thing, I think. What's your first memory?
Going over a bridge at Garfield Park. It was a bridge that had an arc to it, and it's I loved it, and I called it Tickle Belly Bridge. I want my ashes spread under Tickle Belly Bridge. It's a song.
What would okay, this is I don't know why I got really deep with you for some reason. What would be the best part of being a cat for a day?
I don't know. It was sushi.
What's the worst pet that a person could have?
I don't get the whole ferret thing.
Ferret. Ferret is the absolute correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You win all the points.
Ding, 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 ding.
Do you think the movie Inception could be real?
It's not.
If you could be any famous person in the world for one day, who would you be?
Paul McCartney.
I think you won the lightning round with that one. Awesome. Good job.
Does Paul watch? If he does, hello, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Yes, Paul watches every week.
Okay,
yep.
great. Actually, Paul's going to be on next week to announce the winners of the Show Choir Camps of America Scholarship, which the deadline is in 3 hours. So get those in before.
Any shirts? Did we sell any shirts today?
I can't tell until we sell 15, so I haven't gotten
Let's
that.
sell arrangements. Sell Alfred Music Publications. We've got great arrangements coming out. Custom music arrangements. Go there. Buy arrangements now.
Well, I think that worked actually. Do you have Twitter or anything?
You know, that's so funny you said that, because the first person I ever heard about Twitter was you. I heard from you, and I thought it must be a thing because Alex is cool, and Hashtag I don't do Twitter very well. I've got 9 followers. I would like 100 more followers tonight, and then I'll actually tweet or something.
Okay, what's your name? Because we're gonna get that going for you.
Probably, I don't know. I follow you, I think.
Van Cleave Eric at Van Cleave Eric. You have 23 followers, and the last time you tweeted was just in February. Hey everybody, watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Because a kid from show choir camp was on it. Calvin. Calvin's got game night. He was a student. I met him at show choir camps, and now he has Cal's game night. They talk about him on Ellen DeGeneres. Go to Cal's game night. I'm plugging Cal's game night. There you go.
And then your first tweet was Paul is cool. So I'm guessing you were watching the Grammys.
Yes. Oh, I love. Yeah. There you go. Ding ding.
Man, Adam, you nailed that. Nice.
Thank you.
I don't tweet often. Hashtag I must do it more often.
You need to, you got a lot of things jumping around in your brain that could be public,
I should be careful with that.
And a lot that shouldn't be public, I'm sure. All right, we just tweeted a link to Eric's Twitter, so every 413 days when he tweets, you'll get an update. And
it's exploding. I have 3.
3? Oh my goodness. All right, well, we'll follow you. We'll follow you back. And you have to follow us too.
All right.
All right.
I'll do that at some point.
We're gonna wrap the show up, I think, for tonight. Unless you have anything else you want to address.
No, I'm super thrilled to have Mr. Eric Van Cleave here. You rock. You are the real deal, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure, you guys. Thanks for asking me.
And we've been, we asked Eric last year, and he always was very coy with us. So we finally caught the coy. So thanks for being on. It was great. I'm trying to think. Announcements. We have T-shirts for sale, obviously. ShowChoirLife.com. There's a link on the top right. Our scholarship. We'll announce our scholarship next week. So watch the show next week if you want to learn about that. What are you doing next weekend, Adam? What's going on?
Next weekend is my first show choir weekend off since the first week in January. So it is vacay, relaxing. We should say if you have any, if anyone out there has any ideas of where Alex and I should drive to while we're driving to California, you should tweet those at us. I've asked people about Mount Rushmore, the Badlands, stuff like that. We want to know. And
we are going to go we're going to drive out to Burroughs this year. We're going to take the long route. I'm moving to California that day. So Adam's driving with me. We're going to take the northern route, do the Badlands, and maybe Yosemite. Eric, do you have any ideas traveling out west that way?
I would just encourage you to fly.
Okay.
That's great advice.
Everybody buy some T-shirts so Alex can fly.
Yeah, guys, come on. I need to
fly. Come on.
Yeah, let us know if you have any ideas traveling out west. That'll be fun to document. We'll have to do some videos for the show, Adam.
Yes, we need to.
Yeah.
It's like the Oprah and Gail special. Yeah, I'm Oprah.
I don't know what that means. Eric.
I know which one's Oprah.
I still don't know. Eric, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm off again, just like you. I'm off for the first time in a long time, and very happy to. I've had a great time, but now I'm going to focus more efforts. I manage a performing arts center, the Long Center for Performing Arts in Lafayette, and we've got some great things coming there. We're going to do some in-house productions and bringing Straight No Chaser in April, and I think we're going to try to bring the Chicago Children's Chorus choir in next year, and so some really cool things. I'm looking really forward to that. And,
cool.
I'll see show choir around the block.
Are you going to be involved in the production side of any of those shows that you've got going up in your theater?
Yes, we're going to start doing more in-house productions. Absolutely.
Cool. Will you music direct or?
I don't know. We'll see. See what else. See what happens. But I enjoy maybe overseeing many aspects of it, but if, I like to get in there and do the work too. So whatever it takes.
Awesome. That's a cool gig then. That's pretty cool. You just kind of create your own itinerary, and you own everything top to bottom. That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Well, thanks for being on, and everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. And
Dad, it's a school night. Go to bed.
gosh, why are you guys up? It's 9:15.
Buy a T-shirt.
Go to bed.
If you're on the Eastern time, then you're really gonna, be regretting this in the morning. Everybody's gonna regret.
Buy some arrangements and a T-shirt, and then go to bed.
Yes. All right. Well, from Chicago, Lafayette, and Iowa City, thanks a lot, guys. We will talk to you very soon. See you next weekend. Good night, guys.